Welcome to UGC series of lectures. This time I will discuss the primary vascular systems of monocotyledonous and dicotyledonous system. In the primary plant body, the vascular system is made up of vascular tissues organized into discrete vascular bundles. Vascular bundles are strands of conducting tissues extending longitudinally through the stems and roots of the plant. Each vascular bundle consists of xylem and phloem conducting tissues of the plant. In each vascular bundle, the xylem is typically found inside of the stem and phloem is found towards the outside. In the stems, the xylem and phloem are near the outside to provide a sort of scaffolding to reduce bending. There is a great plasticity in the organization of vascular tissues within a vascular bundle. The common vascular organization within a bundle is a parallel placement of xylem and phloem, a pattern called collateral vascular bundle. In some families such as Cucurbitaceae and Solanaceae, xylem is placed parallel with external phloem and internal phloem. A pattern is called bicollateral vascular bundles. Several less common vascular tissue organizations like amphivasal and amphicribal vascular bundles were also evolved in vascular plants. In some monocot plants such as Acorus and Dracaena, phloem is surrounded by a continuous ring of xylem. This pattern is called amphivasal vascular bundles. In contrast, amphicribal vascular bundles, which are found in some angiosperms and ferns, have xylem surrounded by a ring of phloem, primary xylem. Xylem tissue transports and stores water and mineral ions. It also transports plant hormones like abscisic acid and cytokinin and provides mechanical support to the plant body. The principal cell types of xylem are number 1, trichary elements, number 2, fibers, and number 3, parenchyma cells. Trichary elements. Two fundamental types of trichary elements occurring in the xylem are tracheids and vessel members, or so-called vessel elements. The tracheid is the fundamental cell type in the xylem. Tracheids are the only xylem elements in pteridophytes, gymnosperms, and some primitive angiosperms. In most other angiosperms, these are found along with other xylary elements. The tracheid is an elongated tube-like cell. The tracheids are non-perforated cells in which only bordered pit pairs are found in the areas of contact between them. The ends of tracheids are tapering, round, or oval shaped. Their walls are hard with lignified secondary wall material. At maturity, a tracheid is non-living and empty without protoplast. In transverse section, the tracheid is mostly seen angular but may be rounded also. The thickening may be annular, spiral, or scleriform in primary xylem and pitted in secondary or metaxylem. In tracheid, the passage of water from cell to cell is facilitated by the presence of pit pairs with their primary pit membranes in walls between superimposed or adjacent tracheids. The trachea is structurally adapted both in lumen and the wall to the function of conduction and storage. Since tracheids have thick and rigid walls, they give mechanical support to the plant body. Other type of trachea element is vessel member, which is a non-living element of xylem, joined to form a tube-like series of cells, which is termed as vessel or trachea. These series of cells are arranged parallel to the long axis of the organ in which they occur. Vessels occur in the angiosperms, in natum of gymnosperms and pteridium, selaginella and equistum of pteridophytes. Many aquatic plants, saprophytes, parasites and succulents are without vessels in their xylem. Some monocotyledons like Yucca also do not have vessels. The vessel members are usually perforated on their end walls, but sometimes the perforations are formed on the side walls. Those parts of the cell wall that bear perforations are called perforation plates. The perforation plates may contain one large perforation termed as simple perforation plate, or it may contain numerous perforations called multiperforate. The multiperforate type may be either scleriform if perforations are scattered, and if perforations are in the form of network, then it is termed as reticulate. Sometimes the perforations are almost circular, as in ephedra. Such type of perforation is termed as ephedroid perforation plate or foraminate type. As far as the functions of vessels are concerned, two functions are assigned to them. Number one, uninterrupted water and minerals pass through them. And number two, due to the thickened deposition of lignified secondary wall material, they provide mechanical strength to the plant body. Now, the second component of the primary vascular tissue, that is the fibers. Fibers are the components of the xylem. Such fibers are called xylary fibers. Xylary fibers provide mechanical strength to the specified parts. These fibers consist of sclerenchymatous cells. Fibers are usually very long and narrow cells with tapered or sometimes branched ends. Xylary fibers have thicker lignified secondary walls and reduced pit borders as compared with the tracheids from which they are evolved. There are two types of xylem fibers. Fiber tracheids. The fiber tracheids have bordered pits. These pits have a pit canal with a circular outer aperture and an elongated or silt-like inner aperture. Fiber tracheids are found in shrubs and some woody herbs. Fiber libriform. The pit in a libriform fiber has a silt-like aperture towards the cell lumen and a canal resembling a much flattened funnel, but no pit cavity. In other words, the pit has no border, it is simple. These types of fibers are abundantly present within woody plants. Now, the third type of cell that is parenchymal cells. Living parenchymal cells occur in both primary and the secondary xylem. These cells are more or less elongated, placed end to end, and may be thicker or thin-walled. The parenchymal cells of the xylem have a variety of contents. They are particularly noted for storage of food results in the form of starch or fat. As far as the functions of parenchymal cells of xylem are concerned, they conduct water directly or indirectly with the help of tracheids and vessels. They also help in storage of food material. Primary phloem. Phloem tissue transports dissolved substances like sugars. Phloem is also the primary trafficking pathway in vascular plants for the movement of plant growth regulators and other compounds that signal and direct accumulation or responses at sites remote from their origin. Phloem tissue contains number 1 sieve elements, number 2 companion cells, number 3 parenchymal cells, and number 4 sclerenchymal cells. Sieve elements. Unlike dead tracheiry elements of xylem, sieve elements are typically living cells with an intact, osmotically active plasma lemma, some mitochondria, modified leucoplasts, and endoplasmic reticulum. However, in the conducting state, they lack cytosol. Ribosomes, Golgi apparatus, a nucleus, and the central vacuole with its tonoplast. Thus, the cell lumen is mostly free for phloem sap movement. The most characteristic feature of sieve elements are the sieve areas. The sieve areas are wall areas with cluster of pores through which the adjacent sieve elements are interconnected by strand-like prolongations of their protoplasts. Sieve pores are modified plasmodesmata, and like plasmodesmata, they interconnect sieve cells. The two types of sieve elements are sieve cells and sieve tube elements, which may be considered analogous to tracheids and vessel members of tracheiry elements in the xylem. A sieve cell is an element with relatively unspecialized sieve areas. Sieve cells are present only in the gymnosperm and lower vascular plants. Sieve tube elements are the sieve elements in which some of the sieve areas are more highly specialized than others and are localized in the form of sieve plates. These are the thin-walled living cells. A series of sieve tube elements arranged end to end and interconnected through sieve plates form a sieve tube analogous to a vessel in the xylem. They are present only in angiosperms. Number 2 component of the phloem, that is companion cells. Each sieve tube element in angiosperm is accompanied by one or more, usually densely cytoplasmic cells called companion cells. The companion cells lie along the sieves. Companion cells and sieve elements together constitute a functional unit in food conductance. They possess specific intercellular communication in their common walls, in which several plasmodesmata on the companion cell side merge at the site of the middle lamella into the sieve pore on the sieve tube side. In gymnosperms, typical companion cells are lacking in the phloem, but have specialized cells called albuminous cells that are thought to serve the same purpose. Pteridophytes lack both companion cells and albuminous cells and have only sieve cells and phloem parenchyma. The third component of the phloem, that is the parenchyma cells. Like xylem parenchyma cells, the phloem parenchyma cells are the most simple and delicate ones. The parenchyma cells of the primary phloem are elongated and are oriented like the sieve elements, with their long axes parallel with the longitudinal extent of the vascular tissue. Parenchyma cells that occur close to the sieve elements are involved in the transport of food into and out of the sieve elements. Fourth component of the phloem, that is sclerenchyma cells. The sclerenchymatous cells present in phloem are fibers and sclerids. The phloem fibers occur in both primary and secondary phloem. The walls of primary phloem have both cellulose and lignified thickening. The phloem fibers in the primary phloem are supposed to arise by the crushing of protophlloem elements. The fibers may be non-septate or septate and may be living or non-living at maturity. The phloem fibers, like the xylem fibers, work to support the plant body. Sclerids are also found in the phloem. These are found in the older parts of the phloem and are formed due to the sclerification of parenchyma cells. Sclerids differ from that of the fibers only as these are shorter in size than the fibers. The sclerenchyma cells also function as storage tissues. Classification of xylem. The first xylem differentiates during the early development of the plant in the embryo or the post-embryonic stage, and as the plant grows, new xylem continuously develops from the derivatives of the apical meristems. Xylem differentiating in the primary plant body is the primary xylem. The immediate precursor of this xylem is procambium. If the plant is of such a nature that after the completion of the primary growth, it forms secondary tissues through the activity of the vascular cambium, the xylem produced by this meristem is called the secondary xylem. Primary xylem is composed of both protoxylem and metaxylem. Protoxylem cells are the first recognizable xylem cells of the system. Metaxylem cells occur later. The order in which successive metaxylem mature may be centrifugal or centripetal. When the protoxylem is on the inside and the differentiation of the metaxylem proceeds progressively towards the periphery, as in angiosperm stems, the xylem is described as endarch. When the protoxylem is on the outside and the metaxylem differentiates centripetally, as in angiosperm roots, the xylem is described as exarch. When the differentiation of metaxylem proceeds both centripetally and centrifugally to the protoxylem, it is termed as mesarch. The exarch and mesarch types of primary xylem are apparently the most primitive. classification of phloem. As a rule, the phloem is associated with the xylem in the vascular system, and like the xylem may be classified as primary or secondary on the basis of time of its appearance in relation to the development of the plant or organ as a whole. The primary phloem is initiated in the embryo or young seedling and is constantly adding to during the development of primary plant body, and completes its differentiation when the primary plant body is fully formed. The primary phloem is also derived from procambium. The secondary phloem originates from the vascular cambium and reflects the organization of this meristem in its procession of axial and radial systems. Primary phloem is also composed of protophloem and metaphloem. The protophloem develops from the procambium during the early stages of ontogeny, and metaphloem also develops from the procambium during the late stage of the development. Although the phloem commonly occupies a position external to the xylem in stem and root and is known as external phloem, but in many dicot families like Apocynaceae and Solanaceae, pod of the phloem is located on the opposite side as well and is called internal phloem or intraxillary phloem. The internal phloem is largely primary in development and begins to differentiate later than the external phloem, and usually also later than protoxylem. In certain families like Amarantaceae and Chenopodiaceae, the cambium, in addition to producing phloem outward and xylem inward, periodically forms some strands or layers of phloem towards interior of the stem, so that the phloem strands become embedded in the xylem. Such phloem strands are referred to as included phloem or interxillary phloem. Process of vascular differentiation. Vascular tissues are differentiated from meristematic cells, that is procambial cells, during primary growth. Procambial cells in stems are derived from apical meristem. It has been proposed that auxin, which is polarly transported from shoot apical meristem and young leaves, induces formation of procambial cells. Cytokinin is essential for promoting the division of procambial cells. Procambium is polar in terms of the final fates of their daughter cells. The daughter cells may become either xylem precursor cells or phloem precursor cells, depending on their position. This suggests that the cambial cells at different positions receive different signals that specify different cell fates. Auxin may act as a patterning agent for differentiation of vascular tissues. Auxin is distributed in a gradient across the cambial region, indicating that different levels of auxin together with other signaling molecules such as cytokinin are important for vascular cell differentiation. After initiation of vascular cell differentiation, the conducting cells, tracheary elements in the xylem and sieve elements in the phloem, undergo significant elongation before the tubular conducting system is formed. Microtubules are thought to direct the orientation of cellulose microfibril deposition, which in turn determines the axis of cell elongation. Cell elongation requires the loosening of the existing cellulose-hemicellulose network, a process mediated by cell wall loosening enzymes such as expansins. Plant hormones are involved in regulation of vascular cell elongation. After elongation, tracheary elements undergo secondary wall thickening with annular, helical, reticulate, scleriform and pitted patterns. The thickened secondary wall provides mechanical strength to the vessels for withstanding the negative pressure generated through transpiration. After fulfilling cellular activities necessary for building up a secondary wall, developing tracheary elements undergoes cell death to remove their cellular content. And in the case of vessel elements, their ends are perforated to form tubular columns called vessels. Hydrolytic enzymes including cysteine protease, serine protease and nuclease are highly included during xylogenesis, and they are stored in vacuoles before autolysis occurs. Cell death is initiated by disruption of the vacuole membrane, resulting in release of hydrolytic enzymes into the cytosol. Comparison between dicot and monocot. The primary vascular systems of monocot and dicot systems generally differ considerably. In dicotyledonous system, primary bundles are discrete and are usually in a single ring. This distinct ring of vascular bundles is a distinguishing characteristic of dicotyledonous system. However, there are minor exceptions to this generalization. Some dicotyledonous species in the families Amaranthaceae and Piperaceae have more or less scattered primary bundles. A mature vascular bundle consists of three main tissues: xylem, phloem and cambium. The phloem is located towards the outside of the bundle and the xylem towards the center. The cambium separates the xylem and phloem, which brings about secondary thickening. The vascular bundles in monocot are found scattered throughout the ground tissue. Monocot stems have most of their vascular bundles near the outside edge of the stem. The bundles are surrounded by large parenchyma in the cortex region. There is no pith region in monocots. The vascular bundles contain no cambium, and consequently secondary thickening does not occur. Because of this, monocots are not able to form annular rings of hardened tissue, that is wood. As a result of this, they do not have woody strong stems. There are few monocotyledonous like yucca with a vascular cambium which produces vascular bundles within secondary ground tissues. Okay, I will end with this note that primary vascular system of monocot and dicot system consists of two conducting tissues, that are primary xylem and phloem. Thank you.